Welcome to the Inspectations Podcast, hosted by Justin Starbird, CEO of the Aebli Group. In business, one of the most difficult tasks a leader must do is find a way to inspect what they expect. Too often, great businesses fail or managers lose their way because they were operating based on expectations that they had not yet inspected. The Inspectations Podcast brings together business leaders from all industries to talk about best practices, innovation, leadership, and business development. You're listening to the Inspectations Podcast. Here's your host, Justin Starbird.
Welcome back to the Inspectations Podcast. My name is Justin Starbird, and today I get to welcome an old friend, current client, partner, whatever you want to say. Ken Gray, the Vice President of Business Development for RISE Robotics, joins me today. Ken, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here. Always nice to be with you.
Well, we get to do this a lot for RISE and your company there in Massachusetts, but it's really exciting to be able to do it for TAG and the Inspectations Podcast because I love to hear your story. It's always great to catch up with you, so this is really cool.
Yeah, and it's great for us too because TAG has become such an important partner and really an integral member of the team of the RISE Robotics team. So it's this just seems like a natural connection, a natural outcome of all of our conversations, or a part of our normal conversations.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, just so people know, because this is a different audience, tell me a little bit about RISE Robotics and then your role there.
So RISE Robotics is a company that was founded at MIT, over 11 years ago now, by 3 MIT graduates and a Rhode Island School of Design graduate. And they were originally thinking about human performance amplification, exoskeletons, but they really were focused on exoskeletons for fun. The leap of a tall building in a single bound kind of ideas, or an Iron Man kind of an idea. And what came out of that was a pivot of the business to more of an industrial application of one of the solutions for a problem they had with exoskeletons, and that was that they couldn't figure out how to generate enough speed, force, displacement, and without using hydraulics, and they wanted to find a fluid-free means and very lightweight way of delivering that much power, which is what we call RISE cylinder today, which is an alternative to hydraulic cylinder in industrial applications like material handling, mining, and construction. And it's really just it really feels like it's just starting to take off. We've had some success on the Department of Defense side, and we have our first commercial application of RISE cylinder with our partner Anthony Liftgates, and they're just in the process of launching the first all-electric liftgate for Class 8 delivery trucks. There, I did that in one breath. How's that? How's that for getting through the story?
No, that's awesome. And your role is integral to that because you're on the business development side. What does that mean on a day-to-day basis?
Oh gosh, I think business development has a really clear role at big companies, but when you have 25 people, and I tend to wear a lot of hats, but really what I want to do in business development is connect RISE Robotics to industrial partners or potential clients that collaborate with us to improve the products that they deliver to serve their customers. And so a lot of work around establishing and maintaining healthy business relationships with those companies. But I also get into a lot of product development work, a lot of people development work. I've always said in my career that I want every meeting to be about improving the people, product, and processes involved. So I tend to be on one of those 3, if not all of those 3, in every discussion I have at RISE and with TAG. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And, we're the recipients of a lot of that information and insight to, help tell the RISE story. And so in your opinion, I see what makes RISE unique every day, but, how do you explain what makes the vision so different than what's out there today?
Well, it's one of those P's. It's the people part of it. There's this incredible. It's an amazing group of engineers that want to solve problems, and they've all come together because they want to design better machines. So I think the primary differentiator is some brilliant young diverse group of people that are really passionate about developing products that are unique and really do the job better than anything else. And I think that's probably first and foremost what sets us apart. And then the other thing that sets the company apart is the product that they have developed, the technology, RISE technology that they have developed. And what's so unique about it is that it's 65 to 90%. It uses 65 to 90% less power than hydraulics does, which is the traditional way that industrial machines move. So there's a dramatic opportunity to reduce fuel. There's an incredible opportunity to make lighter machines, more efficient machines, quieter machines. So I think it's that combination of things. I think it's the passionate people, highly skilled, that have been kind of released to innovate around this incredible technology that's again it's really just starting to take off.
Yeah, it is just starting to take off, and I speak for our team when I say how lucky we feel to be a part of this growth and its current trajectory. When we joined you just shortly after you came aboard at RISE, and to my recollection, you're tasked with helping tell the RISE story, and there's so much that's gone into that. What made it so clear that was a priority once you started with RISE, and how did you think about coming up with a content strategy for that?
Well, I think fundamentally it was that, I had 33 years of industrial experience before coming in to RISE, and I think the overriding thought was that if everyone knew about this would be a giant business, and if everyone knew how effective this technology is at solving their problems, that RISE Robotics would be a huge business. And so what's missing? It wasn't the technology, it wasn't the capability, it was awareness in the marketplace that what RISE can do and the benefits that working with RISE to develop better equipment could deliver. And so it started right there. We couldn't afford to be industrial machinery's best kept secret. We needed to come out of the closet and let people know who RISE is, what we do, and why it matters. And so our content strategy was all about just that. Who is RISE? What do we do, and why does that matter? And so we used a variety of means to deliver that message, right? And your tag is a very important part of the trajectory that we're on, because where did we start? We started with, let's get the website, let's get ourselves into a 21st century website, and let's just get that messaging right first. Then let's start adding content purposefully. Let's get into the Rise Inside podcast and talk to founders and investors and early customers, early adopters about who RISE is, where we came from, what we do, why it matters. And then we added blog content, and then video snippets, and then we started using social media outlets, Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, and we just, it's been, we've had a very, I'd say, comprehensive strategy around that explanation of who RISE is, what we do, why it's important, and how we take that out and generate. What we want to do is generate interest, enough interest that people would reach out and touch us. And I think one of my favorite measures, I've said this to you before, you know, when I came to Rise, I don't know, it's not been that long, right? It's been, how long has it been? Anyway, 15 months, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
We had, there's a commercial right now, an auto insurance commercial that says, this is going to get tens and tens of views. I love it's the Mayhem commercial that's on right now. Literally, Rise's website was getting tens of views per month.
Right.
15 months ago. We're getting thousands of views per month. We get, I mean, I'm almost ready to say we get tens of thousands of views per month. And I'm close to that. I still think technically I need to say thousands of views per month. But for a company of 25 that isn't, not a public company. We haven't done our A round of investment yet. We're still 25 employees. That's a remarkable improvement. That's 3 orders of magnitude of improvement of visibility, just measured by simply how many people are visiting the website. That's been a remarkable advancement in just really the 12 months we've been doing this together.
Oh, well, and you hit the nail on the head there. I was saying that it's gotten eyeballs on it, but it's also seemed to have gotten the right eyeballs on the site, and I think there's a difference there between just having thousands of views to have thousands of views versus having even the dozens or the hundreds of right visitors, and I think that's been something that's been really important to it as well. And how have you seen the quality of visitor prospect come through versus when you started 15 months ago?
Well, in the beginning we had a CRM, right? I mean, we've not changed. We use the HubSpot contact contact management tool. So we haven't changed that. However, in the beginning, it was, I would say, kind of a passive use of that tool. We had a list of, contacts, we had a list of companies, and that was, we just kind of kept track of them that way. And then, we advanced to the point where now the website populates the CRM, and we are able to very proactively see who has looked at the website, what they have looked at, and communicate with them personally as in a manner consistent with the way they looked at the website. So we're not hitting them with some kind of a bot. I'm personally engaged in communicating, and so is the tag team. Personally engaged in communicating with people that are interested in what we're doing in a very personal way, and that has generated responses that have translated into deals, at the very least translated into NDAs, where we can have confidential conversations very often work their way into a collaborative arrangement that is a revenue generating arrangement for Rise, and a profit generating arrangement as well.
Yeah, it's certainly the opportunities there.
Hang it.
Now that you have the qualified prospects coming in that are raising their hand, that you're getting the opportunity to talk to personally in a way that just wasn't possible before, how has that made your job, I wouldn't say easier, but more fun to learn about projects that are out there, that there are applications for Rise to be used in?
Well, it certainly has made my job more focused. I'm spending the time I spend working with potential clients is with well-qualified people who are, typically interested, if not very interested, in what we do. And I shouldn't say that we just use a tool. We worked with, Lauren on your team has been instrumental in helping us craft, I would say is the right word, a sales funnel. And by that, I mean, we have a hopper where we have potential leads in, and then we move them through a sequence of steps that work them toward, higher and higher confidence that we're going to do business together. And so it's a a well-defined process that we adjust as we learn. And then we document all the communications that we have with each client in the tool in HubSpot, as well as house all of the documents that we have traded back and forth. So, and if there's a non-disclosure agreement, it's in the tool. If there's if I share with them the story of RISE, what we call the collaborators pitch, it's in there. And anything we receive from them is housed there as well. So it's really a one safe location that helps me be much more focused, much more efficient, and helps my confidence that I am actually working with the right clients as we go forward.
Yeah, I certainly, Lauren has been, she's a huge asset to our team. She's a huge asset to your team and many of our clients' teams in terms of project management and seeing, getting things done, right? A lot of times in a role like that you're in, you can come up with an idea, you speak a concept, and then you needed to see it through to fruition. What does that project management role, what has that done for you, and how has that led to more productive conversations with your CEO Aaron Acosta and even the board?
Well, I would say, first thing I would say is that Lauren is a member of the RISE Robotics team, and so are you. And that's how you act. That is, you're not advisors to us, you're doers. I mean, of course you're advisors, but you typically bring me something that you want to do and then you do it. And that's incredibly important. I mean, especially for a small business, we don't need advisors. We need doers, and you all behave as integral members of our team, and that's highly appreciated. Then the other question that you asked is, how does it improve our communication? We now have a very crisp business development package of material that it's easy to maintain, that talks about what is in the sales funnel and the status of the sales funnel, how many deals are there that are active, et cetera. And it just makes it very easy. The reporting that we've generated with your help, it just makes it very, very easy to be prepared for a board meeting or a sit down with my CEO or with my team. It takes minutes to prepare, and that helps my efficiency and focus.
Well, it also improves the element of enjoyment for what you're doing. You came out of retirement for this, and I recall there being a lot of stress related to trying to pull this piece of information and pull that piece of information, and hey, what did I get myself into? And today, it's pretty exciting to hear not only you speak about the team and the progress, but also, well, what's coming next.
Yeah, well, I have failed at retirement. I guess I probably ought to start there. I have been a miserable failure at retirement, and I'm not. I think I've said this before to you that my dad said that one of the secrets to longevity is meaningful work, and I do think that the passion and enthusiasm that the RISE team has is contributing to longevity. It's definitely helping keep me young. I think you're right, that you've got to have process discipline to make work more enjoyable. And I know people don't generally like the discipline aspects of it, but if you can put in, and we've been talking about managing the sales funnel, we have a discipline process in place about how we treat potential clients that come to the portal, right? And we know exactly what we're going to do, and we know what the steps are. And when you have that kind of clarity, as much work as it was to get to that kind of clarity, you're right, it's a lot more fun, because we are number one, confident that we're working with the right clients, that is, they're qualified. And number two, we know the steps along the way, and we can execute those steps, and we don't have to reinvent them every time. I don't have to I don't have to reinvent the non-disclosure agreement process every time. I don't have to think about what materials to send them, because we have a process about what they're going to receive every step of the way. And that just makes it easier to think about, the more interesting aspects of the job. Maybe that's why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day, right? He didn't want to worry about that stuff. I'm just going to wear the same clothes every single day, because I'm going to spend my time working and focusing, thinking about the things that I want to work on. And I'm not to that extreme. I just have the same breakfast every single day, which drives my wife completely insane. But I don't have time to worry about that. That's a fuel stop. Let's move on to what we want to do.
Yeah, decision fatigue. I understand that. So where are there still some areas of improvement, and where do you see, the process taking us all?
That's a really good question. I see us more, we did some trade show work last year at the battery show, which was awesome. I see us doing more of that together going forward. And I also I guess I want to see more video content. I mean, we've developed some great video content together, but I think we're going to be developing more of that, and more snippet 30-second pieces that are, much more suitable for social media than anything we've ever had before is probably one of the ways. And then I think the other thing that's happening is we're pulling our tag team members into more of the upfront conversations, the qualifying conversations. You've become so familiar with the business, you're getting so engaged with the business that I think that there are going to be more and more opportunities to engage in far more of those qualifying conversations that have to happen. And I think, number one, you're really good at that. Number two, our business extremely well. And number three, those explorations can be a whole lot of fun. So they're rewarding conversations to have. I think we're gonna make some more progress in that space.
I absolutely agree there, and it's a lot of. For me, it's always interesting to hear about how we can create solutions to problems that I quite literally didn't know existed in some cases. And so the different use cases that come up with RISE, and the ways in which, that our team can be deployed. I mean, I think that's always something interesting too, because the way in which we work together, the scope of work is pretty open. And, we work hard to be a member of that team, and right down the hall, even though, you sit in Florida, the office is in Somerville, and we're in Portland, Maine. So, I get it.
Yeah. Don't tell me that you can't have a remote virtual team and not make it work, because we definitely have figured it out. I spot on, Justin. I mean, it's really exciting. These are fun problems to work on. And I'm right there with you. We're solving problems I didn't know existed, and that is intriguing. So, and then the other thing I'd say is you have core competencies that we do not want to have at RISE, and let me be very careful about that. They're desirable core competencies, but I want my engineers focused on engineering problems, not on business development problems, not on sales problems, not on marketing promotion opportunities and problems. Those are core competencies that TAG has that I want to leverage, and I want to keep my super engineering team focused on making the best products on the planet, and that's what they're really good at. So I like that. I like that we're able to leverage your. I like that we're able to leverage your skills, and we don't have to develop those ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for the opportunity. We certainly enjoy it. It's always great. We got to make this a regular part of this podcast, where we just get to talk about some of these things that come up.
Oh, happy to. Well, no one loves the sound of his own voice more than Ken Gray. So anytime, man, anytime you want me, I'm happy to join you. It's seriously, we started off as colleagues and somehow became friends and family along. I don't know how that happens, but it just does. And right. So anytime you want to chat, I'm up for it. And, it took a whole lot of planning for me. I think it took me about 30 seconds of prep to get into this today. So, I think we can handle it.
Yeah, we do a pretty good job with this, whichever platform we're on. So I appreciate it. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
You have been listening to the Inspectations Podcast. On behalf of your host, Justin Starbird, and our guests today, thank you for listening. To learn more about the Inspectations Podcast, our guest, or the Aebli Group, please visit us at www.aebligroup.com. Be sure to keep inspecting what you are expecting.